right, good evening, Jakl fans and Jakl Den. Myself, James, and Rick are here again this week. Words are tough today. Are here again. It's the third Monday of the week, I tell you. We are talking to you tonight about the Jackals' last game for a couple of minutes that we had up in New England. And then we got a special guest star coming in to join us from the Jackals to talk to us about who he is and where he came from. But a couple of intro bits for you. We are back in Dallas this week. Our next home game is June 9th. That is Sunday. Kickoff on that one is at 7 p.m. We got to double check that. I want to say 7. Yeah, this one Sunday is at 7. The next one's at 7:30. So
correct. So we will have a 5 o'clock tailgate in Lot E as usual. We will have grill. We will have food. We will have drink. Just come, join us. Don't be afraid to say hi to somebody.
Yeah. We want to fill every square inch of grass that's over there. So come by, hang out, mingle.
Forcibly.
Know us. Yes. We want to be overflowing so that we can go to the administration and say we need a bigger spot to tailgate with next season. Come hang out with us. Bring some of those little games. There were a couple groups I saw that had like cornhole games or something like that. Bring some good fun stuff to keep people entertained. Sunday is always a good day for a match, especially coming into summer. It'd be good to have some kids there, have some families there. We'll have the cookout going. Like Rick said, we will have scarves for sale, $15 for the scarves. If you're out of the area, let us know. We can set up shipping and talk to you about that. But still a good deal. And then let's see, the next home game after that is the 14th. That one we are playing DC. That one we're playing DC. And that one we're going to have our Kenyan kit drive going that Kibui talked about last week. So if you have used kit that you don't want to throw away, but you're not going to use anymore, bring it down on the 14th of that tailgate. Cleats, socks, shorts, shirts. Heck, even balls or whatever you've got that is kind of collecting dust that you can move on to younger crowd that is up and coming and help them get a little better to play in and compete in and a little better than the bare feet and used jeans they're using right now. Check out our socials for some details on that. But with that, boy, let's talk for a couple minutes about what happened up in New England. It was kind of frustrating to watch.
This was always going to be a tough game on the schedule. I don't think I had this as a win going into New England. New England, obviously one of the favorites going into the season with a win last season and a successful season the year before. So really, the beginning of the year on paper, this looked like probably a loss and maybe a heavy loss. And I think after the last couple of weeks with kind of the injuries that New England's had this season and then the way they've looked the last couple of weeks and the way we've looked the last couple of weeks, I think we half expected a win up there, and we almost got it.
It came down to a penalty kick was the only thing. I mean, other than that, some great tries. Our defense was doing really good, the same as they did against Seawolves before. Seattle. Yeah, they're I think the boys played well. It just seemed like something external was not allowing the momentum to continue. It seemed like every time we got the ball and started moving 2 or 3 phases, and then there'd be a whistle, and it really hurt trying to keep that momentum and that ball going downfield. It was a bit tough to watch.
Yeah, we had some handling errors. Discipline as it seems to be every week. Although I thought it was a bit better on Sunday. There's areas of the game that we're just not winning right now on a regular basis, and I think clearly the way the offense plays in general, if we can change some of those things, they're not big things. If we change some of those things, I think we come home with a few more wins this season so far, and maybe even a second or third spot in the West rather than fourth right now. And with LA and Utah breathing down our necks now, both of them only 6 points behind.
Yeah, and I got to say, and this is I would love to see. I'd always love to see the Jackals come out of the championship as a victor. If some spinning events, it doesn't happen. I mean, I can't say this enough. The entire season, compared to where we have been the last 2 years, to see us, it's a totally different team. To see us winning and working better and showing more, almost more of a bond on the field of knowing where the players are at, knowing where the plays are going to be at, knowing how to react and how to move and what each person is going to do, where and when. It's really been fantastic. And even, the handful of games that we haven't won, much like this last Sunday, we've lost by 2, 3. I think our biggest loss so far this season was by 1 try.
At home to New Orleans. I think it was it 2 tries? Anyway, it's been close all season long.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge is just kind of the little things to get us over the hump. And I think part of it is we'll lose focus maybe for 15, 20 minutes in matches. And by the time we get it back and we're on the front foot again, we're just out of time. We run out of time. I think in New England, it looked clear to me that we ran out of time, that with 5 more minutes on the clock, I think we have a good shot of winning that game.
Absolutely. I think, you mentioned some of the discipline stuff, and I think one of the good things to see this game versus the last, I mean, there definitely was still some penalties here and there, but I didn't see yellows or reds come out unless I happened to have got up when I missed it, but I didn't really see any of our boys in the sin bin this game.
No, I think the discipline was much better. There are just little spots that, in fact, that one home match, I felt like, I think it was Seattle, where he was giving away some very soft yellows. I thought this match was more fairly represented by the referee and, not bringing out cards on some kind of silly things. I think overall we're now a healthy team. We played well here. 26-24 loss in New England's nothing to be upset about. So we're going to have chances. The question is, are we going to take advantage of those chances when we absolutely have to? These next 3 weeks are huge. We need to jump out to a double-digit points lead in the standings to make sure that we're set for a playoff spot.
Absolutely. I think with that,
looks like we have a special guest sitting backstage.
Yeah, we can get back to that in just a few minutes, but I definitely want to pull this guy out here and introduce him to you guys and really get a feel for him. Super excited for this one. This was great timing this week too, because this man right here got a great, awesome achievement in his career. This is Mitch Richardson, who had his 50th cap in MLR at this last game playing against New England. Mitch, how did that feel? 50. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, sweet. I just want to say thanks for having me. It was a great achievement. I mean, I've been in the league. This is my 6th season, so it took a bit, but it was unreal. It was good. I also had my parents and my high school coach there, so it was
so cool.
A great moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's got to be fun to play some of those northern area games where you get a lot more of the fans that you used to see from the Arrows that are able to come down. It's probably easier for that fan group to travel to New England than it is to Dallas.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, flights aren't too cheap to get out here, but it was good. I
was going to say, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Hamilton, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's a good 7.5, 8 hour drive.
No, it's okay.
No, it's great.
Well, it's just like going from Dallas to New Orleans.
Yeah. So it was good just for both of them to come out, and even my high school coach. So yeah, it just made it better. I mean, a win would have been better too, but it was pretty cool. It's something that I wanted to do for the season, and yeah, I'm just truly happy I got to do it.
So saying that, you did it this season, but I have a feeling maybe you would have preferred to do it with the team that you spent the last 5 years at. How does that feel? Like the way it went down, you don't have to get any specifics, but just kind of your feelings around what happened with the Arrows and what you took from that, and then coming to Dallas, what's it been like?
Yeah.
Rick wants to start this off at a very low, somber moment, and then we're going to tell some jokes later on and get happy again. But he wants to set a real low bar in the beginning. So, yeah, we'll see if we get some tears in the next few minutes too, Rick. Come on.
I mean, it was always in my head to get it done, 50 caps in the MLR, but also 50 caps with the Arrows. I mean, I was at that club since I was 22, but I was very happy and honored to do it in the Jackals jersey. Just from when the Arrows kind of folded and all that, other clubs were reaching out at the time. And I mean, Kuka sold me here. He was just a great guy who was straight up on the phone. So when that dispersal draft happened and he said that he was going to pick me, everything else just canceled out. I was excited to be a Jackal. And I mean, like I said, like I'm super honored and grateful to get in a Jackals jersey because this group this year has probably been one of the best groups I've been a part of in the locker room, ownership, coaching, staff, S&C and physios. I mean, it's a true professional atmosphere. And yeah, I'm just super happy I got to do it in a Jackals jersey.
That's so cool to hear. That's good to hear. And it's really uplifting to know that there's so much more to the camaraderie and the family feeling that our players have than just what's on the pitch. And like you mentioned, it's almost like an entire holistic thing of what goes on with it, how they take care of you and how everybody reacts even in the locker room and off the field is still that professional, good environment. That's excellent.
Yeah. So one of the things we were just talking about before we brought you on was, how much better this team has come together this season. I think, there's certainly a talent upgrade, right? We've brought in some great talented players like yourself, Nick, McKean, Ben, Ronan. So lots of talent that we've added, but I think more of it is because the guys have really, really got time during the preseason in the first few weeks to really come together. And I'm not sure we got to see that the last 2 seasons here in Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I heard when I came in. I was unfortunately a little late coming in just with some visa issues, but the boys are saying like how preseason with almost everyone there helps. But just even the guys from last year who were with the Jackals, they made a good culture of what they didn't want to happen again of their previous seasons to now. And I think, the leadership group with Harrow and Sam, they've done a great job to bring us all together. And I mean, it is showing if you go back from their last year's games to our games this year, I see that there's a lot more fight and, I mean, there's 4 or 5 games we should have won, losing 3 points. So, I mean, it's there. We want to play for each other. I mean, we want to win every game. So, but I just think that they've created a great culture here and it's very infectious.
Yeah, Kuka's been a great influence on this program since the day he, took that head coaching spot. Really amazing just talking with him. He's very open about things, and I've got to have some good chats with him. And he really cares about the players. I can just tell he's that kind of guy. He's rooting for y'all when you're on the pitch and even off the pitch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like even with just the players creating that culture, like having Kuka and Nate, just those two together, it's fantastic. Like probably one of the best coaching staffs I've been around. Like they just have a plan every day in practice and games, even recovery. They're looking out for us, and when your coaching staff is doing that, like you're gonna play for them. So I think they've done an amazing job as well this season.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want to take a few minutes and get to know the guy before he came to the Jackals. I mean, before the Arrows and before early 20s getting into major league sports, back then what was Mitch like? So how did you make the transition into rugby in your youth? Kind of when did that happen and what took you down that path?
Freaking hockey star. He could have been making millions here already.
Yeah, no, parents came down. They actually were joking around with me apparently in the pamphlet that said that I could play pro hockey. I don't think I was at that level. I played high level. I played a bit of triples growing up and then junior B. But
you still have all your teeth.
I'm going to pretend to understand what any of that was.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. It's just high level hockey.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have played professional. It's, it's a hard thing to do, but I mean,
those aren't veneers, are they? Those are.
Oh no,
you got to
absolutely.
keep them all. Okay.
No. But yeah, just playing hockey, and then in the summer, it's finding a summer sport. I was playing baseball, soccer, but then just the idea of rugby happened when I was just playing around in the front tackle football with my neighbors, and there's someone there. His name's Paul Pandakis. He just came up to me and my dad and said that he wanted me to come play rugby at a high school that was a block away from my house. And I had no idea of it. So I mean, just that idea stuck in my head. And, I started playing rugby in high school.
Okay.
Just like I said, Paul Pendax was at my game. So he's a huge person in my life. But yeah, he just got me into the game, and, this growing up, there's provincial rugby and then the national level and all that. So he really pushed me to get into that. But yeah, just in the beginning, it was just an idea, and I just took it and ran.
Now, did you play any of the leagues prior to MLR up there between high school and I imagine you didn't come out of high school at 22 and then join the Arrows, but did you play in those I guess minor leagues at that time?
Yeah, so I was just playing high school rugby, and then when I was in grade 10 or 11, I heard about a club named Stony Creek, and then I was like, I'll try and go play men's rugby. So I did that, and I debuted for my men's first team. I think I was 17 at the time, and there was a guy growing up. His name's Sean Windsor, who also played for the Toronto Arrows.
Okay.
Someone I looked up to. So just hearing about him, and then all the stuff he's done in his career. So he went to McMaster University. I ended up doing that. So I did 4 years of MAC rugby. And then after that, it was the Ontario Arrows. So that was before Toronto.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like kind of our pre-trial season. So we played like Utah, New York. Who else did we play? Houston. It was good timing growing up. Like the Ontario Arrows was happening as I was about to finish school, and then Toronto Arrows happened when I finished school. So yeah, it was just the timing of it was all great. So it was just like a little ladder of each step.
All right. So how hot is it down here in Dallas? Because we're so used to it at this point.
No, yeah, it's hot.
It's hot.
Like
enough said.
How was that humidity today out of practice?
Yeah, no, it was quite good. Yesterday it was hotter, so it was a little lighter today. But yeah, I went home on my bye week, and it was like, sorry, you guys are Fahrenheit, but it was like 20 degrees.
Yeah.
So cold, and like if I wasn't living here, I would have been hot. But yeah, it's very hot here.
So what's your your first thought of Texas before you got here, and then kind of against those expectations, what have you found since you've been here?
Well, like the first thing I heard is that the temperature is very hot, so I found that out real quickly. But yeah, just like the rugby community, I didn't really know anything of it, but I mean, you see it at our games. There's quite a lot of people coming out to the games, and then even with the Jackals Academies running right now, and there's like close to like 60 to 70 kids out there. So it's pretty cool that the Jackals are doing that and looking through the youth program in Texas. So that was pretty cool to see.
I know that the Jackals have had a couple of bits in their social media about in some downtime going out to some of the local elementary schools, even or junior high schools, and doing some kind of presentations and even some kind of like little scrimmage matches with some of the kids there in the schools. Have you had a chance to go down and get your hands in any of that and have that community interface? Yeah, I
would certainly love to do that. I think when we've been doing that is when we've been traveling on away trips. So like, unfortunately, I've been lucky enough to go and play every away trip. So
the downfall of being a starter at every game is horrible.
Yeah, so I haven't been around to do it, but I would love to do that. I mean, when I go back home, I go back to my high school and old university. So it's something that I would love to do while I'm here.
That's so cool.
I assume you didn't get a chance to hit Hamilton while you were up in Boston. It's a bit of a drive.
No. That's the thing. I hate traveling. I hate flying. I hate. So, I mean,
better get used to it.
Home, so I was like, I'm good with it. plus my parents are there, so it made it feel like home. So
outside of Boston, what's been the best away trip so far this year?
I think San Diego. I think that stadium was the best stadium I think I've ever played in. It was super cool. They got a cool setup there.
It better be. They just built the thing.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like when we were going out for warm-ups, I was just like, my God, like this is like if they got, I don't think they train on it every day, but if they did, like they're so lucky. But yeah, that's definitely been the coolest spot by far.
Yeah, because I know a lot of players that we've talked to have said that they love coming to Choctaw, that it's a great players experience, probably outside of the fake turf, but they love the locker rooms. Just the facilities is really.
Yeah, I think we definitely have one of the best facilities, like that involves the visitor side. I mean, some teams we travel to, the locker room we can barely fit 10 guys in it, never mind 23 to 24 plus coaching. But it is what it is. I think our setup has to be one of the best in the league. But San Diego's was pretty cool.
I'm excited to check that one out. I'm trying to get down there for the championship and see how timing works out. But from what I've heard, everything down to that Snapdragon is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's unreal. I actually think the All Blacks are playing Fiji there too. So
yes,
that would be cool. Well,
they should have done that the same weekend as the championship.
Yeah, that would have been the smart. Yeah,
that could have been our what are the
we got ideas on this show.
Yeah, right.
A great idea.
That could be the early day match to get the fans ready for the MLR championship.
It probably spark numbers for even the MLR championship too, because it's like, oh, why not?
Why not?
Two. I mean,
maybe last year, 2-for-1 ticket deal.
Yeah.
Last year we had DJ Shaq, before the championship. So I think we could do some rugby pregame stuff this year.
Yeah. The championship last year was cool. I actually had a wedding down in Chicago, so me and my girlfriend got tickets and stayed and watched. And yeah, I'm glad we did. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like they had 1,000 people there, so it was fun.
If you made it through that wedding and you're not talking about a wedding between y'all yet, you probably have some time. I'm getting married for the second time here in Scotland in early July, and I planned it out so that it would be I think it was an off week for the Jackals. It was like the last week of the season we had it off, and then they changed the entire
original schedule
with Carolina Inter, and I'm like, that's the weekend we go to Houston?
Oh no. Nah.
I'll be in Scotland when y'all are in Houston. And also, no Scottish rugby is going to be happening because the Scotland's national team will be playing the U.S. in Scotland in D.C. that weekend.
Yeah. Oh.
So I'm like, and I can't even go watch any rugby while I'm in Scotland.
No, it's all. Whereabouts in Scotland are you getting married?
Edinburgh.
Oh, nice. I spent a season in Melrose, so
okay,
an hour west of Edinburgh. So I was just
I was going to ask, playing overseas, how did that come about, and then what have you taken from that?
Yeah, so last year with the Arrows, they got a partnership. Melrose came over and they did a partnership with them, and they asked me if I wanted to go over and play, and I said absolutely, I wouldn't turn that down because it would have just been my off season, and I would have just played club in Ontario. So I was like, why not play better rugby in Scotland? So I did. I went there for 5 months. Their club actually had a side that was semi-pro. It was called the Super Six. So I played 2 games for the Southern Knights, and yeah, it was pretty cool because there's a bunch of guys from Edinburgh and Glasgow dropping in and out of the lineouts.
Oh yeah,
guys coming back from recovery, so they're playing in it. But yeah, just going over there definitely helped me because the rugby was quite better than club back home. So I was super glad I had that.
Was the language a bigger barrier than you thought it might be?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, it was pretty easy to understand them.
Not Highlands rugby might be a bit of a challenge.
No, but yeah, that's what I heard. Like certain parts, Scotland, it's a couple times. So
the accents get a little thicker up there.
Yeah.
So if you were going to pick your favorite food that you've experienced in Texas, give us a top 5.
Oh, favorite food. Poncho might get mad at me. I might say a couple fast food restaurants.
Oh no,
we don't have Chick-fil-A at home, so I don't mind
Chick-fil-A is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a place around us called Velvet Taco. It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, Hamilton, you're right near Toronto. You're a big city, so you're gonna get some of that stuff. You don't have a Velvet Taco, but I'll bet you have some decent tacos out there.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But the Velvet Tacos, they're up there for some of the best
Okay.
I've had. Well, top 5.
Any barbecue? No barbecue?
Oh, actually, yeah. What's the place called? What's it called? I took my parents there when they came over. Heinz, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Heard about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went there, but other than that, those are pretty much the 3 spots.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a top 5.
Yeah. It's too easy to keep going back to Chick-fil-A, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it's usually a guilty thing after a travel day, you know, lazy to cook. So you're like, I'll just get a little chicken burger. And
I'll tell Pancho it's okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
So I got to ask, outside of practice and games and outside of where you're going to eat, where can we find you? What's your hobby? What's your go-to? Where's your Zen kind of
top
relaxed
golf
moment?
Yeah. So, oh man, just with the heat, I'm a guy who likes to just hang out in his room. You know, I like to keep to myself quite a bit. So, I got big into video games when I was in university growing up. So that's something that takes me away from rugby.
So what are you playing right now?
I like to play a lot of Call of Duty.
Oh man, still Call of Duty. I love it.
All over. Okay.
All the young kids are into games I've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear Call of Duty still
growing up
some
playing
action.
Call of Duties. I just can't break it. I mean, my girlfriend hates it. I'll be playing that.
That's time being taken away from her, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. But yeah, no, it's just, it's just something so little that can take you away from the game and practice. If you're having a bad day, it's just a great thing to have.
I think one of the coolest things about the setup that they have for you guys down there, and I love that they did this, having you all in the same complex, living together, but they've got a great setup outdoors we see pictures on the socials of the pool and the barbecue and the area out there and everybody hanging out and getting along. And it's really cool that camaraderie that you see on the field in the locker rooms transitions over back to, the next day at home, where it's not, all right, high fives, everybody get in the car and go different directions and see you later. Go back, get some rest the next day. Let's all go hang out at the pool and grill and keep that kind of family thing going, which is excellent. That's a very cool setup they have for you there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's unreal setup. Like some boys have been playing in other spots in the MLR, and they've said this is probably the best setup they've had. It's good being around the guys. Just like little things like barbecues. Like that's what I mean. Like our team culture is very strong. So like just little things like that just keeps it going and it keeps it strong. So
we got to ask, Canadian English got your own little kind of accent. I see you're starting to lose maybe a little bit of yours. But like dealing with, the different languages on the team, I would say probably last year was more of a challenge than this year, at least from what we've heard and what we can kind of tell. How has that been for y'all? Kuka's English is phenomenal now. I don't know how he's learned so much so quickly, but it's still got to be a bit of a challenge with guys who literally have just come up to the States for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like almost everyone's English is very good, especially all the Argentinian boys. Like, I mean, I totally know what they're saying every time. I've actually played with a couple Uruguayans and Argentinians in the past, so it's quite familiar with it. But like, I mean, I just commend them, like, just to learn another language and speaking all day. I mean, it's super good on them. Like, I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't see myself doing it. But yeah, like
there's plenty of Latins that come up here and never learn English because the communities are so large that they can get away with just speaking Spanish. So that's very commendable for them to put in that effort. Yeah. It's a lot of effort. I mean, I've been trying to learn Spanish for 30 years. I'm still.
Yeah. It's like
I only know the swear words, so that's
we hear that quite a bit sometimes. But,
I won't repeat any here.
But like, yeah, I mean, like even when Canadians growing up, we have to take French in high school, and I don't remember it. So, I mean, they've just been super awesome. Like, I don't think it's a barrier at all. I mean, I think it shows by the way we're playing in the attack and defense. I think communication is a key part to our, we've been successful so far in the season.
Yeah. What do you put the success of the defense up to? Because I would say early in the season, I'm not sure the defense was quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
The offense clearly was, and the offense I think still clearly is. You've just had some challenging opponents the last few weeks, to say the least. But what do you put the defense up to? What the huge improvement in defense over the last 6 weeks maybe?
Yeah. I think it's just buying in. Kuka is our defensive coach, and he brings a lot of passion and he asks a lot out of you, and you're either going to show up or you're not. And the boys who have been in the 23, even at training, like we want to do the work. I think just buying into it has helped us out a lot. Like, even some of the games we were losing, like we're at a 91-92% tackle completion. So like we know it's there. It's just small areas, discipline has been killing us for a couple of weeks now. But it's just buying into the system, and I think it's helping out a lot.
Yeah, we were just talking about how the discipline seemed considerably better against New England. Issues here and there, but overall was much better this weekend versus probably the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
which were obviously a bit of a challenge. Where do you feel like this team is? Are we? I love the coach's enthusiasm on getting to a championship this year. As fans, we're probably not quite as enthusiastic because we've seen the last 2 years, and this is a difficult league, and the quality of rugby is getting better every year. Where do you see this team right now? And we know this is a build for long haul, and I think we're all happy with that and fine with that. How do you see that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Just if you think about the top 3 or 4 teams in the league, I think Houston, we lost by 2, like a penalty kick. Seattle at when we were away, we knocked the ball on when we had the line out on the 5 meter. San Diego twice, New England this weekend. I think we're up there. I think we're definitely in competition, to go out and do a job and potentially win the Shield. Our first objective is to get to the playoffs first. So, once we get there, I think, when you make the playoffs, records don't
bounce of the ball. You don't know. Yeah.
Records don't matter in playoffs in any sport. So, our main goal is to get to the playoffs and not look past that.
Yeah.
But, we got a tough 4 weeks coming up. So, the playoffs are in the back of our head, but, each week is, it's Chicago, then it's Old Glory. We don't look past them. So that's what I think.
What are you thinking of this Chicago team? Because I would say earlier in the season, I would have thought by now we'd probably walk all over them because they'd be so, maybe not out of it, but they would be in 3rd or 4th and really not with much of a chance to get into the top 2 in the East. How are we looking at Chicago this weekend?
Yeah, I think they're a big team, definitely big pack, big backs. I think they're finding their groove, which sucks to say, but they're a tough team. Every team in this league is tough. It's a tough opponent. Excited to play them. They have a couple of Canadians, so happy to catch up with those guys. But yeah, it's just matching their physicality. I think if we do that, we can do a job. But if we don't, Chicago the past 2 weeks have looked very dangerous.
Punishing people.
Yeah. So, if we don't show up, it could be a long day. But if we match their physicality, I think it will be a really good game.
Yeah. I've been really impressed with the way this team has gone on the road. I think at this level, when you're just taking commercial flights, not at particularly the best time to be getting on a plane, where the league is money-wise, that you're traveling across country, and this is, we are spread out of compared to most professional sports that start up. This league is very spread out, and to get on the road and have a 4 or 5 hour flight at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then having to go play, and then flying back that night or maybe early the next morning, that's brutal stuff. So I've been really impressed with the way y'all have played on the road this year.
Yeah, it's just something that we have. Poncho loves it. No complaints. we hear it a lot in training. So, you know, bad travel day, good travel day, like, you know, whatever happens. You know, it's stuff that we can't control. And like I said, the culture we built, like, you know, we get through it, doesn't phase us. So, I mean, it's good that we've been able to do that away, and it's just kind of transitioning that to these last 2 home games. Hopefully get 2 W's.
Okay, my last question. Are you signed for next year?
Yeah, I am signed for next year.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think of these of the specialty kits that the pictures got put up yesterday. How do they look in person?
Yeah, well, I seen them like in our gym behind the door, and I was like, "Oh, what are these?" Like they're
what are those?
They're clean. Like hopefully get picked and get to wear it. But yeah, they're nice jerseys.
Yeah. Seeing those pictures, I love the color comparison. I think it looks fire. I'm excited.
It was a bit of a tease, though. We didn't get a close up shot of the jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just far away pictures where you're like,
oh yeah, I haven't even seen the post, so I just jersey. They're really nice.
That's where they're going to say, if you want to see it up close, you got to bid on one.
Yeah, right.
That's how you get to see it up close.
Up after the game, you guys can get a good view of it. But yeah, I mean, on my word, they're really nice jerseys. I'm hopefully I get picked and I can wear one. But
yeah.
I think that's foregone conclusion. You'll be out there in the 13.
Yeah. That one's already got your name on it. Hey, so one other thing that I want to ask you real quick about being down here in Texas, and I know you mentioned you're not a big travel guy. Are there any places around Texas that you haven't been yet that you're looking to explore or to go check out or go see that are on your bucket list?
Yeah, well, we really wanted to go to a basketball game, me, Dewey, and Brock, but
the other guy,
too lazy to get around and buy tickets. But I would love to go to a Rangers game. I love baseball. I think it's awesome. I can't watch it on TV, but if I go out and watch it live, I can do it.
I'm the same way. I can't do baseball on TV, but if I can sit down in the stadium and in a diamond, then that's different. Yeah,
so I'll definitely do that. But yeah,
it's pretty cozy in there, and they very rarely open the roof. And for sure, from here on out, it won't be open.
Yeah,
maybe if we make it to October.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine when they were playing in the old stadium and they had an afternoon game. Like that must have been terrible.
I sat in those stands, and when they built that stadium, I was like, oh my gosh, there's at least like a breeze through the stadium. The original stadium that was there, the old Turnpike Stadium that I grew up in the 80s going to, that thing, it was metal bleachers.
Oh yeah,
and it was very open. There weren't these nice high walls around, kind of creating a breeze, and it was brutal during the summer.
Yeah. Well, I just remember the Seattle game when I just, something I do, I look up into the stands to calm the nerves, and I can just see everyone trying to find shade. So I was like, oh, I can't even imagine a baseball game and it's packed. Like, what do you do?
We just hope the other team dies of heat exhaustion before the 7th inning, so we can just call it as a win.
That's why we never could get any pitchers, because nobody wanted to stand out there for 2 hours and not move.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Mitch, man, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us and giving us some insight into who you are and what life has been like for you and how you've been playing with the Jackals. It's been phenomenal to watch you be out there as a starter. Again, super excited that you had your 50th cap with us. Hoping for 50 more if your knees and your back have it in you.
How you still a young man?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't know. 28 this weekend, but
happy birthday!
Man,
yes. We'll make some happy birthday signs and wave them up there while you're out on the field.
For sure.
I'll get the kids painting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. Do you have any last thoughts you want for the fans that are watching?
No, just we're happy that we get to represent Dallas, the state of Texas. I mean, we love hearing your support when you're at the home games. That's really it. I just want to thank you guys for having me on, and it's been awesome.
All right. Hey, thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Rick, I think you and I will touch base a little later on. I think that was fantastic. We thank you again, Mitch, for your time. Thank you, Rick, for all your insight and everything. Again, some quick things. The game is on Sunday, Choctaw Stadium, 7 p.m. is kickoff against Chicago Hounds. Tailgate starts at 5 p.m. Lot E, southwest corner, right across from the entrance.
I'll have my grill.
We'll have the grill. We'll have scarves. We'll have little games. We'll have all kinds of things. The perfect time to bring your family out, bring your kids. Let's fill that stadium. This is supposed to be, this one is Jax's birthday. So organization is going to have a couple of, I think 4 or 5 other mascots from other teams in the area there. And there was something on there about the first 1,500 or 150 kids get free youth jerseys or youth shirts or something when they go in. So fantastic reason to bring your kids to a game.
Probably a Jack shirt, I'll guess.
Yeah. It'll look kind of like it'll be like a Hanes shirt painted with a Jakl. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. We look forward to that. We look forward to seeing the Jackals kick butt against Chicago. And yeah, other than that, keep an eye on our socials. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will talk to you next week.
Cheers.